Hey everyone. I know things are tough right now, especially if you're out there trying to build a business.
It really is a challenging time for entrepreneurs.
It is, and that's why I wanted to take a deep dive today into the world of entrepreneurial struggles because honestly, sometimes just knowing you're not alone can make all the difference.
So true.
Yeah, we're going to be drawing on some wisdom today from a Hungarian entrepreneur named Balázs Vendler.
Oh, yeah. I've read some of his stuff. His article, Everyone Struggles at Their Own Level,
Yes.
really resonated with me.
Yeah, that's the one. And it's funny because we always hear about those like success stories, right? The highlight reels of entrepreneurship.
Right, the ones who make it look so easy.
Exactly. And Vendler, he kind of pulls back the curtain a bit
He does.
and shows us that even those entrepreneurs that we tend to put on a pedestal,
Right.
they struggle too.
Everyone struggles.
Everyone struggles. And I think that's why this is so relevant right now.
Absolutely.
Because, it's easy to look around and be like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. Why is everyone else succeeding and I'm not?
Right, exactly. And Vendler, he talks about this time back in, I think it was 2013, 2014,
Okay, yeah.
when his own company was struggling
Mm-hmm.
and he was feeling really lost. And he went to this seasoned entrepreneur for advice, someone he really looked up to.
Oh, wow.
And what that entrepreneur said to him totally shifted his perspective.
What did he say?
He said, welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club.
I know, right? It sounds so simple,
It does.
but it's so powerful because it instantly creates this sense of camaraderie.
Like you're not alone.
Exactly. You're not alone in facing these challenges.
I love that.
It's like a secret handshake for entrepreneurs,
Right.
And it's so reassuring.
It is.
Especially when you're feeling those doubts creep in. And Vendler goes on to say that, this feeling of stress, the uncertainty, the sense of being stuck,
Mm-hmm.
it's something that entrepreneurs at all levels experience.
I think we can all relate to that.
Right. It doesn't matter how big or small your company is
Mm.
or what stage of development you're in. These struggles are universal.
They are. And this is where Vendler poses that really crucial question.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know why you're running your company?
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind, right?
Especially now?
Especially now when there's so much pressure to just survive.
Just to keep your head above water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Vendler is saying, like, take a step back
Mm-hmm.
and really connect with your why.
That deeper purpose.
Yeah, the deeper purpose that fuels your entrepreneurial drive.
I like that.
Because that can be a game changer.
It can.
Because it's like finding your North Star, right?
That's a great analogy.
That guiding principle that helps you stay on course even when the seas get rough.
Because they will get rough.
They will get rough. And Vendler, he argues that without a strong connection to your freed, why you risk burning out.
Just going through the motions.
Yeah, just going through the motions. And he even compares it to employees who only work for a paycheck,
Oh, wow.
which he says can feel like a slow, passionless death.
I think that's a bit dramatic.
It is a bit traumatic.
But I get his point.
Get the point right.
If you're not excited about what you're doing, if you've lost sight of that initial spark that made you want to start a business in the first place, it's going to be very difficult to stay motivated, especially when things get tough.
Absolutely. So let's talk about how we can bring that why to life, how we can translate it into tangible action. Because Vendler, he suggests this framework for setting business goals that I think is really helpful.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so he starts by emphasizing the importance of having a clear vision for your company's future. Where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah. Where do you see yourself?
What does success look like to you?
That's a good question to ask yourself.
And it's not just about dreaming big. It's about getting specific goals.
Mm-hmm.
Vendler talks about setting quantitative goals that are aligned with that vision. Think revenue targets, profit margins, the number of clients you want to serve, or even the size of your team.
Okay, so it's about turning those dreams into concrete targets.
Exactly. Painting a vivid picture of what you want to achieve.
I like that.
And I love how Vendler emphasizes the importance of setting realistic goals. Because
Yes.
he shares this story about an entrepreneur who initially set these wildly ambitious goals, but then revised them
Oh, really?
when he realized the amount of effort required to actually achieve them.
Yeah, sometimes we get ahead of ourselves.
We do, and
Yeah.
it's a good reminder that it's okay to be ambitious,
Right.
but you also need to be grounded in reality.
Absolutely. That's such an important point, especially when we're bombarded with stories of overnight success.
It is.
It's easy to get caught up in the hype and set unrealistic expectations for ourselves.
Totally. But as Vendler points out, setting achievable goals that you genuinely believe you can accomplish
Mm-hmm.
is crucial for maintaining motivation and momentum.
It is, because if you set those goals too high and then you don't reach them,
Right.
you feel defeated.
It could be so demoralizing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say you've got your why figured out and you set these ambitious yet realistic goals. What's next?
Well, this is where planning comes in.
Okay.
Vendler's a big advocate for creating a roadmap that outlines the steps you need to take to reach those goals.
Okay.
He suggests breaking down the journey into annual milestones, creating a sense of progress and momentum.
Yeah.
So imagine you have this grand vision for your company in 5 years,
Right.
but if you don't have a plan, it can feel overwhelming,
Oh, yeah.
almost impossible to get there.
It's like trying to climb a mountain without a trail map.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You might have the strength and determination to reach the summit,
Right.
but without a clear path,
You're going to get...
you're likely to get lost along the way.
Totally.
And this is where planning becomes your compass, your guide through the entrepreneurial wilderness.
I love that.
Yeah.
Your guide through the entrepreneurial wilderness.
Oh, Ray.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk more about the importance of planning and knowing when to deviate from the plan.
Sounds good. But here's the thing about plans, right? They're not set in stone.
Right.
Vendler acknowledges that the entrepreneurial world is unpredictable,
Especially now.
especially in times like these.
Yeah.
You can have the best roadmap in the world, but things will inevitably come up that you didn't anticipate.
So what's the point of even having a plan if it's just going to change anyway?
Yeah, good question.
I think that's a question a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with,
For sure.
especially those who are just starting out.
Yeah, you put all this work into it, and then...
Yeah, and then what?
Like,
Life happens.
exactly, life happens.
So,
Vendler's point is that having a plan allows you to know what you're deviating from.
okay.
It's not about clinging rigidly to the original blueprint, but rather using it as a reference point,
Okay.
a compass to guide your decisions as you navigate those unexpected twists and turns.
Okay, I'm starting to see what he means.
Yeah.
It's like having a budget.
Okay.
You might have a plan
Yeah.
for how you're going to spend your money each month.
Right.
But then something unexpected comes up, like a car repair.
Or a medical bill.
Or a medical bill, and that's okay.
Exactly.
As long as you're aware of how that deviation is impacting your overall financial goals.
It's about making conscious adjustments,
Right.
course correcting along the way, while still keeping your overall vision in mind.
So it's not about abandoning the plan altogether. It's about being adaptable.
Exactly.
Being willing to pivot when necessary. That actually makes a lot of sense. Especially when you consider how much the world has changed in recent years.
Oh, yeah.
The businesses that have thrived are the ones that have been able to adapt quickly to those changes.
Absolutely. And this is where Vendler's insight about the slow death comes back into play.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about the danger of losing your passion just going through the motions?
Right.
Well, I think the same principle applies to your business plan.
Okay.
If you're clinging so tightly to the original plan that you're not willing to adapt to changing circumstances, you risk becoming irrelevant, even obsolete.
It's like the saying, what got you here won't get you there.
Yeah.
The strategies that might have worked a few years ago might not be effective today.
Right. You need to be willing to evolve, to try new things, to experiment.
And that requires a certain level of comfort with uncertainty, which I think is something a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with.
It's definitely a challenge, but it's also an opportunity.
That's
Embracing that uncertainty, that willingness to experiment and adapt can lead to incredible breakthroughs, new innovations that you might never have discovered if you had stayed stuck in your old ways of doing things.
So how do we cultivate that flexibility, that adaptability? I mean, it's easy to say, be adaptable.
Right.
But how do you actually do that in practice?
Well, I think it starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Vendler talks about the importance of regularly checking in with yourself, asking those tough questions about your motivations, your goals, and your overall well-being.
It's like taking inventory of your internal landscape,
Yeah.
right? Assessing whether your business is still serving you in the way you intended, and if not, having the courage to make changes.
Exactly. And those changes might be small adjustments to your plan, or they might be more radical shifts in your strategy, or even a complete pivot to a new business model.
And that can be scary, right? Especially when you've invested so much time, energy, and resources into building your business.
That can be terrifying.
But sometimes you have to be willing to let go of what's not working in order to create space for something new to emerge.
And that's where having a strong connection to your why can be so helpful.
Right.
Because when you're grounded in your purpose, when you know what truly matters to you, it becomes easier to make those tough decisions, even when they involve letting go of something you've worked so hard to build.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why and the importance of setting goals and having a plan. But what about the financial aspect of things? I mean, let's be real. Money is a huge part of entrepreneurship.
For sure.
You can't build a successful business without generating revenue.
Absolutely. And Wendler doesn't shy away from that. He acknowledges that money is an essential part of the equation, but he challenges us to go beyond simply making money. Okay.
And consider how much money we actually want to make.
Right.
And more importantly, why?
That's such an important distinction.
It is.
Because it's easy to get caught up in that more is better mentality.
Especially when you're surrounded by stories of entrepreneurs making millions, even billions of dollars.
Exactly. But if you're not clear about how much money you actually need to live a fulfilling life, you can end up chasing a number that doesn't actually bring you happiness.
Right. It's about defining your own personal definition of financial success.
So what does enough look like for you?
Yeah, and how does that financial goal align with your overall vision for your life?
Because it's not just about the money itself. It's about what the money allows you to do. Is it about having more freedom and flexibility? Is it about providing for your family?
Right.
Is it about making a difference in the world?
Exactly. And when you have a clear understanding of why you want to make money, it can actually make the process of generating revenue more meaningful.
I like that. It's no longer just about chasing profits. It's about achieving a goal that aligns with your values and aspirations.
And that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Wendler points out that our perception of enough can be heavily influenced by external factors.
Absolutely.
Like economic conditions or societal pressures.
It's so easy to get caught up in that comparison game.
Oh, totally.
Constantly feeling like we need to earn more, achieve more, or have more to be considered successful.
Especially now when there's so much uncertainty and fear around the economy.
Yeah.
It's easy to get swept up in that scarcity mindset, thinking that there's not enough to go around.
Right.
And we need to fight tooth and nail for every dollar.
Which is exactly why having a strong internal compass is so important.
Yeah.
When you know your why, when you have a clear sense of what truly matters to you, you're less likely to be swayed by those external pressures.
Right. You can define your own measure of success,
Yeah.
one that's aligned with your personal values and aspirations, rather than dictated by societal expectations or economic trends.
And that's incredibly freeing.
It is.
Especially in times like these.
Yeah.
It allows you to focus on what you can control, on building a business that brings you joy and fulfillment, regardless of what's happening in the outside world.
So how do we cultivate that sense of inner knowing, that strong internal compass that guides us through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship?
Well, Wendler doesn't give us a specific formula, but he does offer some valuable insights. He encourages us to regularly check in with ourselves, to reflect on our motivations, our goals, and our overall well-being.
Like taking a step back from the day-to-day grind.
Right.
And asking yourself, is this still working for me? Am I still aligned with my purpose? Am I still excited about what I'm doing?
Exactly. And if the answer is no,
Then what?
then it might be time to make some adjustments.
Okay.
Whether that's tweaking your business plan, pivoting your strategy, or even considering a completely different path.
It's about having the courage to course correct, to let go of what's no longer serving you, and create space for something new to emerge.
And remember, this is an ongoing process.
Right.
It's not about finding the perfect answer and sticking to it rigidly.
Yeah.
It's about staying curious, staying open to new possibilities, and being willing to evolve as you grow.
Because ultimately, entrepreneurship is a journey of self-discovery.
It is.
It's about learning, experimenting, and constantly pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone.
And along the way, you'll inevitably face challenges and setbacks.
It will, but
But if you stay connected to your why, if you have a clear vision for what you want to achieve, and if you're willing to adapt and evolve, you'll not only survive, but thrive.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of entrepreneurial struggles, I want to encourage you to reflect on these insights from Balazs Wendler. Ask yourself, what's my why? What does success look like to me? And how can I build a business that's both profitable and personally fulfilling?
Great questions to ponder.
Because remember, you're not alone on this journey. There's a whole community of entrepreneurs out there facing similar challenges and celebrating similar triumphs. And by embracing the principles we talked about today, self-awareness, adaptability, and resilience, you can navigate the uncertainties of the entrepreneurial landscape and create a business that truly reflects your passions and your purpose.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.